Okay, let's see if I can hear myself. I'll be talking at this volume. I hope that's okay. Yep, that's all good. All right, wicked. Okay. So I've got all my analysis drawn out on the NQ chart, and that means that I was silly and I need to redraw it out on MNQ. But just a quick checkup in the Discord community here. Um, got my analysis tab, and we can go to market review Wednesday, 4th September, and this is what you get in the community. So a few hours before market open, I'll just update what I'm looking at. And here you can see I found a measuring gap. I'm expecting price to run up here, up and then down. So I'll just draw everything again on MNQ, unfortunately. So I've got everything reset. I always start out by drawing the new day opening gaps. And since the daily close is set to settlement, it's pretty straightforward. You just do it like this. So that's one, close there, two, three. And then this one is a new week from 1st September to the 29th. So I draw it and I change it to I got nlog there. Cool. So that's one new week, 3 new days. Put a new day there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Get the fifth one on. So that's 5 new day opening gaps. If I add all of these, it'll, like, I'll show you, it'll just be, a bit messy. As you can see, I don't need that many. I just need those ones. So that's locked in, cool. But I will now keep adding the new week. So we got this one, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's from the 22nd to the 25th. So that's a new week opening gap there. Cool. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is this 18, 19, this one. 15th to the 18th, there's a new week there. Very small new week opening gap. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 8th there, 8th to the 11th, new week. So that's 4 new week opening gaps. Just want one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There from the 1st until the 4th. That's all good. And then hyper zoom in, go to the top. Got a preset for event horizons. So draw it from the bottom to the top of that one. So these, I'm going to change them to make them thinner and save as EHPA. I don't know if I like the purple color, but I had them as white and they kept I couldn't really tell what they were because I have so many white lines on the chart. So for now they're purple, but may change at a later date. So just that, this is how I draw the event horizons pretty much, pretty straightforward. One new day to the other, basically, one new week to the other. So this close there, and then that's that there. And then this will be here, down to there. Cool. This will be here to there. This one is there to there. I'm pretty sure this is the final one, which will be from the low of that down close all the way to the low of that down close. Nice. So that's all of our new day, new week opening gaps and event horizon PD arrays. So what I do then is I add it all to one group and I title it ndog, nwog, ehpda. And what that means is I can make it all disappear. So I can bring it up, I can go into the 15-minute, and you can see all of them. But when they get in the way, you can just make them disappear. And that's wonderful. I had daily levels marked out. Let's go to the Discord to see what I said about daily levels. It's a 4 hour. This is all the daily levels. We've got a SIBI, order block, discount wick, sell side, SMT. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. So that's this sell side imbalance here. That's what we're currently trading in the lower half. So I'll make it a sell side imbalance like that. 1 day. Cool. And this was oh, so that I have a feature for wicks. I have a rectangle that doesn't have any outlines. It's just wick like that. And I can change, I can call it discount wick consequent encouragement like that. Make the font smaller. There's that. What else was I looking at? Sell side on the 4 hour, this singular low here. As you can see, this low, it took it out. Then we got to run up. But on the S&P, this low has not been met. So it's a bit fishy to me. There's liquidity there. But also, if I go down to, say, the 1 hour, that very same low, this is that discount wick, that very same low is equal lows right there. So I'll go back, mark it out as relative equal lows liquidity. And previous, what is that? And previous day low, PDL. There we go. And then order is there. Was it this one? Yeah, yeah, that's the one that I was watching. That makes sense. Yeah. Bearish order block, opening price, 1 day. Opening price, it's always opening price. It doesn't look pretty. So there's that, and then there's this as a previous day's high. Those are the daily levels. What I do again, grab them all, put them in an object group. I just put 1 day, or I put daily bias. So now, as you can see, you can have the new day, new week, and event horizons, and the daily levels. You can get rid of the daily levels. You can have them back, get rid of them. Cool. Okay, I'll go into the 4 hour, keep the daily levels on. I'm seeing this. Relative equal lows, discount wick. I don't think I had anything drawn on the 4 hour. Forgive me, I've been looking at the charts all morning. I'm really tired, but daily. Yeah, yeah. The rest was my OPL. Because the 4 hour pretty much says the same stuff that the daily says, you know? And I think this high could be taken out before we go lower, but I think from range here, this range from here to here, that's the equilibrium. I think we should go down to there. So go on to the 15-minute. Let's get rid of the daily levels. On the 15-minute, then we mark out our OPL. So if we go out to midnight open, bring it out. I like to bring it out to 11:30 and mark that as midnight open. And then we now have 8:30 open. That's that one there. 8:30 is there. So this is London sell side. It's a lot easier when it's in my head and not having to be externalized, to be honest. I'm not very used to this. London low. Cool. I'll lock that in. I also always have, this is quadrants and standard deviations. So if I go, this is 8 o'clock low. This is the high between 8 and midnight. So that's standard deviations of the Asian range. I can actually extend right and take a closer look. So this is price running down through the Asian range. Now I don't want it extended right because it'll get messy. What I do want to take your attention to is this. So these are those, this is that sell side. PDL, relative equal lows there, right? Let's put a slash like that. And it lines up perfectly with, that's the wrong one. Would it be this one? No, it's the fifth one. Lines up perfectly with the fifth standard deviation of the Asian range. So as I'm expecting price to come lower, I'm watching these levels. So this is our dealing range. We have smaller dealing ranges inside of this. So like from here to here. If I bring up the daily bias, uh, was it there? Hang on. There was something vital. This high here. I was watching. Mm, 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 mm. So I'm expecting this high to be swept in a Judas. If so, I'll look for shorts. And if you check this out, from this low up to this low, here, is it this? It's got to be that. Mark out this gap, and you have yourselves a measuring gap. So this is gonna grey it out because it's already been tagged. But this is Asia. Oh, whoa, what did I press? Not gonna lie, I'm a bit of a technophobe. Asia high, done. This is Asia low. Like that. And cool. So I'll show you this and then I've got to get some laundry out of the machine. But I'm expecting something. Let's get the this is our current equilibrium of the range from here to here. But I'm expecting range expansion up to here, which just about lines up with this gap, making it a measuring gap. We'll keep it here for now. Apparently, I didn't want to keep it there. I'll show you my analysis for the measuring gap. Here it is. So it looked a bit more perfect before. It's tagged to this low, this high, there's equilibrium, and this is the gap. Um, and Hello everyone, I'm live. There's about 4 people in this community. So yeah, I'm expecting at market open I would like to see something like this. And I'd only be looking really to take this portion of the move down to the Asia lows, which is a nice down to equilibrium, which is at around say 23,420. Say I get in somewhere around about 23,470. That's a nice 50 points. So I'm looking to catch at least 30 points today, and leave one runner. And so I had in here, in my analysis here, this it says in this short idea, most of my position will be taken off at Asia lows. Look at how those 15-minute bodies are flat at the Asia lows. That's these here. No, these. So you see, even though this low swept below this, these bodies are really flat. That's liquidity. So I said, notice how the bodies are flat. That's liquidity. My runner for previous day's low will depend on how price trades through this BPR on a 15-minute basis. So here's the screenshot, this balanced price range, so I'll draw it here, but I'll get rid of it after that. I don't want it on the chart. So this inefficiency, there's this inefficiency here, and then if I stretch that to this inefficiency, then all of this is balanced right there. So like that as a BPR. Now, what I mean by that is, say we get a sweep down, like a sweep up, and then we start coming lower. I would have taken off most of my position here, and I'm gonna leave. If I have 3 micros on, I can only take like one full pull of like 35 points. That's my rules. If I have 5 on or any more than 3, I can leave the other 1 or 2 as runners. So say I leave a runner on here, my stop's already going to be around about break even, which is up here, right? Now, if we come into this, let me extend this out a bit, uh, real quick, and then I'll leave because I've got to do my laundry. But let's get rid of this, get rid of this, start again. So we start running down, and then we get here, and we get like this, right? And then you could say that this is like a breaker. Then delivering out of that balanced price range, I would just expect higher prices. But if we come down and we close here, and then we knock our heads here, and we spend time in the lower half, I'd expect continuation through all of this, down, again, down to there. So this balanced price range, which I am measuring on the 15-minute, is pertinent to how I view price. If I go up one time frame, it's just one hourly BISI there. So it depends on how, if that becomes an inversion for value gap on the hourly, so based on an hourly closing basis. Let me just check the 5-minute. I don't tend to check the 5-minute until market open. Yeah, it's way too many candles. So the 15-minute is what I'd watch it for. I'll draw it. This is another reason why the object tree is so good, because if I draw it, bring it out, label it BPR, and turn it down a bit, lock it in. Then what I can do is I can come here, name it BPR 15-minute, and I can turn it off just like that. So I'm about to lock in everything on my OPL. This is our pre-market high. Well, that's at 6. I start pre-market highs from 7, so this is actually our pre-market high. Um, drag it out a bit, and then so far this is our pre-market low. So far. So I'll keep those in, and then now I can go like this. I'll just drag it up, put it all in a group. OPL, call it OPL, and then when we turn OPL on and off, as you can see the balanced price range is in there. I want to get that out. There we go. So we can turn that off. And there you go. So there's our OPL drawn on. It's everything we're going to be watching. Now, let's say at 9:30 we run down and we deliver out of this, then I just look for longs, like I said. London low swept, Asia low swept, delivering out the balanced price range. Then I'd look for a manipulation up to take out the pre-market highs, these relatively equal highs that on the S&P, they're also relatively equal. They're not as high probability because this high took out these highs, but like I said, you go back, you got all of this, and you got all of this. One more thing worth noting before I get my laundry out. So if I zoom out, probably easier to see on the hourly. Yeah. Um, as you can see, this high here on the S&P, if we bring it to here, it's much higher on NASDAQ. You can actually tag it to that one, right? So NQ's made higher highs, but the S&P is failing to do so. Even with these, it's failing to do so, right? Or is it? Let's see. Yeah, it's knocking its head on them. Because it's such relatively equal and smooth, I expect ES to just shoot up at open, but we shall see. So yeah, let me just write be back in 5 minutes, chaps. I'm not gonna write chaps, that's weird. Fellas, that's even weirder. Legends. Oh, Let's open my window a bit. Gonna 5 minutes to sort of open up my journal. God, I need to journal yesterday. Maybe another coffee will do. I'm actually feeling really tired. 4 minutes to make a coffee. Yeah. Yeah, sure thing, sure thing. Sure thing. Let's grab that. Nice. I'm gonna go make a coffee. Dollar running lower down to sell side, below midnight open, which is good for a run higher on the equities at equity open, which would be then good for our potential short opportunity. It's okay to have a third cup of coffee on time. 10 seconds until market. An apple as well in case I need a bit more sugar. Just feeling very tired. And off we go. Now I can check the regular trading hours gap. Very small. Very small. Got totally filled in. Um, strawberries. That's our regular trading hours gap. It's it's less than it's less than 30 points. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for high resistance liquidity. And there's news at 10, so if there's a trade to take, we've got to use it at a time stop. I need to lock it all in at once. All right, this is good. Let's just need the RCH gap showing at the moment. And Asia low, right there. Watching both assets. That's the high, the respective high on the S&P is there. So keep an eye on that. It's hard to see it there. Just gonna sit and eat my apple. Is it going to choke on apple juice? Choking on an apple. So we know what all this is. Let's just have a look at new day opening gaps. That's nice. Who stays high? I think this is that daily order block. Yeah, I think like that. So if it like takes the high, but then is closing below daily order block, that'd be great. And then- Oh my god. Let's just bring up OPM. So we've got a vertical monitor. It's got NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, and dollar. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Dollar's ready to sweep higher. It just total sweep lower. And she's about to take my level. Oh, I was reading Dow, not dollar. Ignore that. Dow's ready to go higher. It's a bit decoupled, but the Dow is always sort of doing what it wants. Um, where's that daily order block? This previous day's high on my daily bias is the same as the what do you call it? The other one. Gonna drop down to a 5 minute now and bring up the 1 minute. So no, this is 15 minute. I need the 1 minute. Cool. 9:30. I'll draw the opening price of 9:30 on. It's your first presentation. We didn't take out that liquidity. We have news at 10. So it's just not really good enough for me. Yeah, I don't know. As of right now, this can go into OPM. I want to go short, but with news at 10 and it missing that liquidity, it might not be clean enough for me. And Dow looks like it's about to rip higher, and dollar looks like it wants to go lower. So if I miss out on this trade, that's fine. If we um get that set up with the balanced price range, like I said, where it either wants to go long or short, then that'll be our 10 a.m. silver bullet, really. Because now this is relatively equal highs with this. They're relatively equal now. Um, you could totally sell short here inside this as an inversion. Could be 97 to 23, so 26-point stop, but I'm not taking it personally. I'm just going to drink my coffee. You know, it's like intuition, right? You develop intuition over years, and like I trust my intuition more than like my fear of missing out. I'd rather trust my intuition that says I don't like this enough, and it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It means I sat out of a trade and was willing to either take no trades or take one later. Um, Whereas, you know, if you're just trying to make money, there's no intuition. You think, oh, I can't let this trade run off without me. I couldn't possibly um, have an idea and not put risk on it. When, like, this idea isn't as good to me as other ideas for many reasons. The RTH gap is shit. There's 10 a.m. news, right? We didn't take that liquidity. Look at these relatively equal highs on the 1 hour. Now, this could be a long-term high going into this imbalance. This would be an intermediate term high, which would mean any other high after this would hold. Look at the S&P. It's quite decoupled. Yeah, the S&P is climbing higher. It's also coming up to that time now where I can't take a trade until 10 a.m. So I can take a trade in the first 15 minutes. So for instance, if we took this trade, say we took this trade at 9:40 as it tapped into this, so we entered there 96. It's delivering, right? Say it slows down here, and the 5 minute does not create a change in the state at 9:45. I will cut the trade, or I will put my stop at break even because in 15 minutes there is going to be news, and I don't want to be at risk of that. So we're just going to keep tape reading this. All of these lines are. I can bring them closer. Because 9:45 is where I would stop looking for trades until 10 o'clock. And so if we're not getting fast displacement lower, you know, then I would cut the trade. Which means this trade has 2 minutes left in order to create a sharp displacement through this and preferably take out this. Because at that point, your stop's protected. You can go break even, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. I don't give financial advice. I don't know how to do that. The S&P is climbing higher now. like that. So I think it's a good thing I trusted my intuition. Now, how many points is this first presentation? It's what I can count. It's 398, 501. It's 2 points. So we're not counting that. That one isn't a displacement. It would honestly probably be this one. You got 930 is here. No imbalance. This is not big enough in my opinion, especially because it prints through all this down, up, down. This is pretty balanced, especially now. But here, yeah, there's some price action there. But this is 523 to 529. So that's like 6 points, which is better. It's not great. This is a displacement. So price is just building an opening range. So we'll just wait until 10. Dollar has much lower to go, in my opinion. Um, Dow seems like it's off to the races. S&P, um, I draw that high. S&P hasn't reached it, but I think it's at least reaching for these highs here. And NQ has to reach for this high, in my opinion. Okay, that's not professional. I'm still not touching anything until 10 a.m. We've had 10 a.m. news like most days this week, and it's been a bit of a nightmare for me. Because you kind of have to wait, you know. But I'd rather not take a trade today than take a loss, pretty much. If you get like a 1 minute change in the state at the opening of the, sorry, a 5 minute change in the state at the opening of the macro and a big displacement, which it seems to be closing in on now, unfortunately, but that would be a good trade. But there's news at 10. We don't take it. Dollar is still heading lower. Very decoupled market. Very decoupled market. You take a look at the S&P, taps into that inefficiency off of this breaker, seems to be going higher. But NASDAQ, it's like faking everyone. You see that? You see how people would have thought to go short, but it's not. It's not. This is high resistance liquidity. So I ain't touching it. Macro's open now. What I want to see with the opening of this macro is for price to run up and get close to this, and then at 10 o'clock, wick up into it, maybe 10:01 or 2 take out that high, um, potentially an SMT where the S&P is pretty much nowhere near that high, so the S&P doesn't take it, and then we get a decent displacement lower. And with Silver Bullet, nice displacement lower, and my targets are lower. Like, look at these nice clean equal lows. We're above the opening prices. We've taken out the pre-market high. Then I'd go short. I just want to have a look. This pre-market low. It's pretty much there. If that's 930, yeah. So sweat pre-market low, then takes pre-market high. That's a nice clean ATM setup right there. Sweeps the low, change in the state, go higher. I didn't take it because I wasn't longing. I don't want to long in premium. It wasn't my plan, right? But there's a whole trade there, ATM model. I will give credit to Shemaine Trades. Check out his channel. I learned all of that from his Discord server. Not going to pretend I made it. And if anything, what I call OPL, my OPL model, it's just marketing thing. Like, it's how I internalize opening prices and liquidity. Which, if anything, is something that I finalized and really put together by watching Charmaine's Discord. It's a blend of his Charmaine's model and his ATM model. Um, I'm not going to teach. I'm going to teach my own thing in my own way, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. Is the news at 10? It's ISM services PM only. Also, it's non-farm week. ICT um, recommends that new traders don't trade on Thursday or Friday. And as you can see, very high resistance liquidity. I'm fine if I don't get a trade today. It's at 5 minutes until 10. I'm just going to use it to go to the bathroom. by the way. Looks like it's about to rip higher. ES looks unsure. And NASDAQ looks like it wants to dump. It's a very, very decoupled market. I want to see this swept, then we go lower. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get tunnel vision. Like I said, if we drop down here and we react out of this, I may be able to look for longs. Look at that. Look how many people keep shorting every time. People will long now, and it will likely not give them an opportunity to stay in, you know? You don't trade before news. This is why. This is why you don't trade before news. I suppose, I don't know. It's hard to know which first presentation to select today, you know? Um, this one is 23 to 30, so 7 points. This one is 14. That's 10 points. I think at least 10 points is reasonable. This is actually just a bit of a BPR. It's worth noting. Either or could be your first presentation, really. They're both pertinent. It'd be good to look at the hourly. If we shoot up and then down, massive wick. Otherwise, we'll come down and then go up, which seems to make a lot of sense. What have we got? We've got a minute and a half. Minute and a half, everyone. I'll bring up the opening price and liquidity. Bruh. There's like all of this from another day. Don't focus on that. None of it's grouped together on the 1 minute. Let's just watch bear price action for now. In fact, let's get rid of OPL, bring up the new day, new week opening gaps. Honestly, I have a feeling that it will go lower into a discount, and then our silver bullet will be a long. Um, but either way, I'm just trying to play the liquidity. I don't have a strong bias today. And there's our news candle. Take a look, like on the 5 minutes. See how hairy all of this is? This entire range of price just spent a lot of time up and down, up and down, up and down. And this is what it looks like on the 1 minute. Well, let's bring up OPL. It shouldn't be too much. I'll get rid of the new day, new week. There's an event horizon here, right at midpoint of the range as well. But that range, EQ, is now there, because that's the high. It's having a real hard time taking those lows. Personally, I much prefer the short. It's just part of my plan. Dollar is now shooting up, but so is the Dow. Um, yeah, Dow's running up. The S&P could climb higher, but NASDAQ on the 15-minute looks like it just wants to dump. So we're still decoupled. Um, does the ES look cleaner? Not really. To see someone commenting. I only just checked. Not gonna read your username, but hello. Yeah, I'm just chilling, waiting. Really, like, bro, did you want hang on. Did you want an invite link for my oh Jesus, I can hear myself. Hang on, hang on. Oh God, oh God. No, get rid of that. Yeah, bro, do you want an invite link for my Discord? Let me just get it. Ooh, copy the link, put it in the chat. I'm streaming there right now also. There you go. Uh, that's my secondary account. But yeah, take that. Join the Discord. Um, dollar's stuck in a range. We might get that long. I'm not gonna force anything. This is the thing now, right? Like, we might get a long out of this, or we might, like, I don't know, man. That's all I could really take if I'm in discount. But seeing all this, it's just I wish this was taken, that's all. The S&P is dumping. Dow looks like it's about to flip. It's just honestly, it's not good enough for me. Look, none of this is clean. I'm not gonna chase price just because it started going lower. I really, really wanted to see this liquidity taken. It's not happening, so now we're below all three opening prices, and there's even it's be a 10 a.m. There's no point marking it out because it's right at 9:30. But yeah, we blew every opening price, so it's like, why go long, And the dollar hasn't broken out yet, so there's no saying if it's going higher. It's got some, yeah. There's no saying where the dollar's going really. Asia low's taken. Like none of this is clean. I could potentially see this series of up close candles as a breaker. It's probably cleaner on the 2 minute. Yeah, see this? This inversion on the 2 minute also is pretty clean, but it's only because I want this high taken. And in all honesty, today I feel like I'm struggling with finding much of a bias. So I'm going to force anything, just here to reprice. This would be like a silver bullet, but where's your liquidity, right? Where's your target? Asia low was just taken. So where are you taking it to? You could take it to the BPR. That would be 30 points. But in my opinion, it's too risky. If this were an inversion, it would be a gauntlet IFVG, right as a breaker is about to form. If so, keeping an eye on it. But I don't really want to go long. Like every asset is dumping, and the dollar is about to break new highs. So um, we're we're correlated now. We're back to a correlated market. We're still in discount, you know. Sorry, premium. We're still in a premium. Uh, of this range, we're in discount. So I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to take any trades. I already know that we're below all the opening prices and stuff, so we'll get rid of that. How do I find the chat? I do see that, man. Yeah, I saw that. It's high resistance, so I didn't want to take it anyway. I have, I have a model, I have a system, but let's have a look. Inversion here comes below the midpoint of that wick, comes back up, back into the fair value gap, and then displacement. That's your silver bullet down to Asia lows. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I just, earlier on, I pointed out this trade. This is one of my models. I don't want to take it. It's just it's not what I was looking for, to be honest. I'm here to get better at trading, not to make money. But that's pretty good. It's a pretty good trade. Also, I took a loss on the 15-second a couple times, and kind of like messed with my emotions. I'm not allowed to touch 15 seconds, at least while I'm developing. Just I said to myself, like, I don't even need it.
I'll eat my words in the future. I'll start using it in the future. But right now, I'm trying to learn how to follow my rules, not like find every possible trade. You know what I mean? If we get a 1 minute breakaway gap through this, I'll take it. Ideally, like as we dig through this, to be honest. Um, then we got this 5 minute then, which is really small, 53 to 59. I appreciate you watching me, bro. It's good to have someone join up. Like I said, you can join the Discord if you like. I did my fucking comment get deleted? I don't know. Discord's link is like all over my channel, so yeah. Oh. Sometimes SMT is hard to read, right? Because it's like, okay, NQ took out all the liquidity, ES didn't, but it's like, oh, that's such bait, for the S&P. Um, mm, Something tells me not to take it, to be honest. Nah, I take three. Okay. Nothing we can do now but watch. No, trade sucks, man. Oh, mad. That trade sucks. Damn. No, I took that, to be honest. Got a little bit impatient, I think. Yeah, I think I did, honestly. That was a bit shameful. Been really good lately. Got a little bit impatient. That's all right. Just PA's a bit scatty. Look at that. It's just difficult because like I really wanted to short from up there. This is price. Dollar's still running on. BPR. And I still went long, so just wanted to journal, I guess. Disappointed in myself. I need to wait for more confirmation, really. But it's all right. You know, like I didn't even wait for candle body closure. Uh, S&T with the Dow. Um, I still like longs. You know, like if we zoom out, these smooth highs, and this high was made. It's Asia high from the other day. Um, yeah, let's bring up the RTH gap again. Let's get rid of OPL. Should have been watching that. Mm. Thing is like getting above all of this is going to be high resistance liquidity. I bought here, right? I bought where digging through this is going to be high resistance. I bought after it digged through the low resistance. That is honestly my bad. Something for the journal. I'm gonna buy this as a breaker though. So what I want to see is 5 minute closure above that level there, which lines up with this, and I want to see 1 minute breakaway gaps, and then I'll be comfortable buying, and I can just check. So we're down 132. Yeah, I can risk like 165. Let's say I buy here, put my stop there. Says I can risk two, which makes sense. Hmm. We're about to get that 5 minute closure. No change in the state on the 5 minute. I consider a closure above midpoint of this wick the change in the state. Um, but yeah, we'll have to see how price responds. So I hope that acts. I want to see that gap stay open, act as a breakaway. If it does, I'll buy the breaker. I'm just hoping that there's a 5 minute um, closure as well. But waiting 5 minutes when I expect price to be low resistance is going to be difficult. Just check the hourly. Yeah, this is good, right? It drops down into this balanced price range, delivers out of it. Mm, 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 mm. IPL. Where's beneath the opening prices, which is nice, and just getting this on. We respond out an event horizon. Nice. Um, and the daily bias. That was that daily order block. I do want to target that previous day's high. Is that the sell sell balance? When I bought, yeah. Anyway, I'm still learning, you know. I have some really, really good days. I've got a model I can teach, but I'm learning how I execute that model still, you know. I want to buy here. Um, but wait. There's PDRA 1, that inversion there on the 2 minute, 4 minute breakaway gap. Pretty much need to see closure here. So if I bought here, my stop has to be below mean threshold and also below the breakaway gap. If I want to be, there we go, that will give me risk of 2. Yeah. This is just, let me, this is just the breaker. No, that's not what I want. Any fair value gap in this, I'll take. There's also Caleb's model present, so 5 minute lows swept, fair value gap, take it, stop here, go higher. I just had a premature entry, to be honest. At 10:12 right after the macro. I like this. So this closure, if we get trade number 2, what can we do, you know? We're in it. Now we can watch. This is common, right? Like price going into a gap, one last sweep down, and like I said, that balanced price range was well right there, so I should have waited, really. Now, if this trade fails, that just means my bias is wrong. That just means I don't think it's going for these highs. But yeah, I'm going to coil it. I'm just going to let this trade do its thing. That's good to see. Big black candle. No, thank you. I can't double down, but I would buy another here. My risk is 300, right? Yes. Dow's running up, ES is running up, NASDAQ is playing catch up. Mm. But all assets are running up. The only issue is like so is the dollar. So I want to see this stay open. So I want to see price stay inside of this and come out of it. I want this to be an IOFED. This is pretty much where my stop has to be because my entry was slightly higher than I wanted. But I'll keep it down there. It'll lock me out before it hits it, if it hits. So what does a 2 minute look like after inverting that gap? This is all good. Trade still looks good. Honestly, I'd prefer to just watch the 2 minute and the 5 minute, even the 2 minute and the 15 minute. What about the 3 minute? Yeah, this all looks pretty decent. Um, I want to see a change in the state as soon as possible. In the 5 minute there. Go back to the 1 minute. This is a hard day, man. Very difficult day. Another thing, right, with my entry is like, look, can you see the difference between this price action and this? Like, if you simply just wait for breakaway gaps to form, that's when you get to trade low resistance liquidity. Like I said, that's why I've said if this fails, it means I'm wrong. It means that my draw on liquidity is wrong. Whereas this failed because it needed to sweep liquidity again, right? This failed because it was high resistance. It ran into this area of high resistance liquidity and then took the low again into the balanced price range and then went higher. Now this is a breaker with a breakaway gap, IOFED. This is a breakaway gap, and if we I can imagine price at least coming up to here, which is into the first presentation. I'm down 130, taking, yeah, well, I was wondering if I could take a partial to recover half of my losses. Maybe 260 here to recover half my losses. In my opinion, there's no point. Trying to make sure it's right on the high, but honestly, like, the difference is $10 and price tends to actually like just, you know, play silly buggers. Um, so I'd be happy to just make like $180 on the day. Let's see what bro's saying. He's still here. Bro's not still here. Once price comes into this, I'm gonna watch. I have reduced the risk on the trade. So now we got this potential gap, this change in the state, and this breakaway gap with that breaker. All of that is protecting my stop. That's why the price isn't going to come down here unless I'm wrong. So I'll raise my stop. And I can actually just bring it a bit up to here. And I'm blind, by the way. I need reading glasses. So, all right, 95. Yeah, that's good. So that'd be 200 and something lost on the day. Now there's a bit of an SMT, but I think it's NASDAQ needs to play catch up. But I do have to be cautious because the dollar is, well, running up. I don't like that. Look at that. You know what? Just because of how decoupled and difficult today is, there. Taking off some of the risk by taking a partial. I'll be able to move my stop. I can bring it here. So it's now 41, risking 120. Was my first loss 135? So what I just did doesn't actually change anything. Oh well. Damn. That's fine. That doesn't make a difference either. Looks like I'm making less than 100 today, boys. Looks like we're staying down on the week. Look at those bodies. Let's do this. I want to see it close above midpoint of that and then shoot up. I feel like I shouldn't have taken that partial, but if I buy another one, I am breaking rules. Yeah, no, I've actually said if I buy another one, I'm breaking rules, so. Not allowed to do it. Not allowed to do it. Let's put on some new week opening gaps. Nice, 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 nice. So come out from this. I'm only here for the mental capital, not for the simulated profits, you know. This is an eval at the end of the day. I'm just trying to get better at trading every day. If the dollar was dropping lower right now, then I wouldn't have taken that partial. But because the dollar's running up and everything else is running up, it's just for me that's just like you know I wouldn't even be break even right now because there's this gap and this change in the state. I guess this gap too, but that's not enough for me. Really, my stop should be here, but I don't want to risk any more. I wouldn't actually go break even until we close above this. But that's just me today, because I took that initial loss. And to be honest, that's something I do a lot. I take an initial loss, and then it impacts the ability of my like second trade, the actual good trade. Um, and the solution to that really is just like the first inversion, the first whatever. Unless you're getting breakaway gaps and you've had a sweep of liquidity, you know, like dollar is rallying now. But everything's coupled. Even like all the assets are coupled with the dollar. But yeah, no, I'm gonna. My focus next week is gonna be aiming to avoid taking the first sign of a change. Um, pretty much. Just wondering, like, I should. I guess I should have this at previous day's high, right? It's only gonna be an extra $7. Right at. No, I can't do that. I can't. Everything's a bit. You know, I can't. I'm going to take what I can take and leave it at that because it's just difficult today. I don't have a reason for it to go above any of this, you know. Um, as much as I'd like to make more on this trade, you know, I took that partial. I would have made a couple hundred if I didn't take that partial, but I was just being cautious because I took that initial loss. That's okay. I'm going to end up on the day if I take this. I'm proud.
Um, there are always standard deviations, like uh, that's not the right one. There's 1.25 there at that end log. Give me, you know what? You know what? We're gonna try that. We're gonna try that. Yeah, I'm fine to try that. So what I've done is I've marked this whole range down. Here is an extra quarter standard deviation, and it lines up with a new week opening gap. Um, and I should have. Uh, let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring up OPL. Asia range standard deviation one is there. I'm just going to take that. I'm going to put this on my story. Follow TickWizzaTrades on Instagram, and you will be blessed with free educational content. So gonna keep them in the day, but I can actually bring my stop here for now. So that's an extra 13 bucks. Hell yeah. Like, if there's anything I've learned this week, it's that journaling has really helped me, but I need to journal harder. I need to put more effort into my journal because, like, I need to really, really dig into, like, what was going through my head. Why did I go long? Why did I think that BPR was not going to get hit? Well, it's FOMO, right? You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait and risk it running off without you. God forbid. Um, yeah, like, I can't put it there. Shame. Keep it here. Go back to the 5 minute. But yeah, I'm gonna journal this a lot, and we'll see. I hope dollar is dumping. No, everything's going up. So now, if we check here, I'm like no longer down on the day. I'm up like $5, but you know, I got some good content out of this. I had someone watch, someone showed up, which is wonderful. I appreciate that. Built a little community. One guy. Are you still here, bro? Leave a comment if you're still here, because that'd be nice. Tell me what you think of the trade I took. Once it closes above here, bring my stop all the way up to. Wait, no, what's it bringing me up at? Okay.
Yes. I'd really like to see price start running now. Um, it tends to reverse at it tends to make a low that it will like reverse from at 40 past the hour. Otherwise, I think we're cooked. Just assumptions. I shouldn't lower my stop, but it's a difference of like $10. Doesn't matter to me. I want to be below mean threshold, but I want to allow it to wick, so I want to literally just be break even. I only raised it for educational sake, and I'm lowering it for educational sake. It seems like the S&P was the better asset to trade today. Look at that. Bosh, bosh, look at that. Thing is, did I get better at trading today? Absolutely, yes. Am I going to close the day at a win or a loss? Potentially a loss. Potentially. Sticking into this 3-minute breaker. 5-minute gap. I want to see the 5-minute close above this line there. And then the 1-minute invert this, and then we're good. Otherwise, potential of getting stopped. We've got 10 seconds to see what I said, so not looking great. It's also a new 15-minute candle. Made a gap. Yeah, look, bit bearish. We need to see displacement higher now, pretty much. And then if we can get above all this and close the next 5-minute here, get a change in the state, then this is sure. And like drawdown mitigation, that's incredible. You take a loss and you make half of it back. You can't complain. Did you learn from the loss? Cool. Did you mitigate the loss? Even better. And did you follow your rules? Wicked. And I don't have work today, so if I gotta go, like, if I gotta finish a day on a loss, I don't have to go to work and make burgers as hard and fast as I can and feel awful about the fact that I took a loss. I'm kidding. I don't do that no more. I've been in this game for almost 3 years. So see, this low wasn't taken out. Neither on the S&P. So you get 5 minute low sweep. If we got like a gap on the 30 second, will be a good little Caleb's model. I don't. Oh, it's the mean threshold. Okay. So the reason why I said changing the state here with a gap is because this 5 minute close opens the macro, London close macro. And so I've seen a lot when you get a 5 minute change in the state inside a macro and there's good market structure on the 1 minute, that means like you get like breakaway gaps through breaker blocks, change in the state, everything like that. That's like a whole model in and of itself. It's something I studied a few months ago. I could certainly make some content on teaching it. I use it as entry mechanism sometimes with the OPL system, but generally I just trade OPL and yeah, to be honest, my issue with this entry is the 5 minute. Like one thing I learned is that as long as you wait for 5 minute change in the states, your entries are pretty good, right? But I entered here. It's just a wick on the 5 minute. It's nothing. Whereas here, you know, this is change of the state. Um, so yeah. One for the journal, not a broken rule. Uh, just a mistake in execution, really. It's looking good for longs though. Nice. It's kind of a change in the state. It's more of a barcode. The 1 minute IFEG helps, but we really need to see displacement right away because that candle didn't close above anything. It's just range bound between those two event horizons, the purple lines. Um, so the 1 minute IFEG helps. We don't want to see it revisit the lower half of that, and we want to see a breakaway gap form pretty much right now because it's the macro. Um, we look at the hourly. So if this hourly candle is going to close above consequent encroachment and it's going to make a change in the state here and consequent encroachment of this, right? So all of this becomes a discount array. And then if it were to dip into roughly consequent encroachment on the hourly open, that's like the high of this IFVG and then rock it up. That's what I want to see. And when this high is taken, I'm bringing my stop to where break even would be because I'm basically holding for the standard deviation as an experiment. But like if it comes up to here, then I want to at least end the day break even. That's not good. That's really not good. Told you barcoding, right? So seeing as we didn't get a change in the state, um, You wanted to see it run up real quick, and it's not doing that.
So I'm asking
Pretty much like 100 more points. Now that I think about it. It's fair enough. Hourly wick, consequent encroachments. That's all I'm going to be watching at the moment. I know when the hourly closes. That's nice. Another thing is on the 15, because NASDAQ, everything else is making high highs. NASDAQ is the only one playing catch up, and yeah, so if anything, like both of these together are pertinent to whether or not NASDAQ wants to create an SMT at the highs or play catch up. It's got 1 minute for the 5 minute to close. I want to see us get above all of this, basically. Close, with a decent change in the state. I want to see price clean up. I want the chart, the barcode to stop here. That's 15 minutes of just barcode. I want to see it clean up now. Where is my TP if I look at it on the daily? Eh, it's really hard at the moment, but hey ho. Okay, that 5 minute close. We need a 15-minute close above this, 15 minute and an hour. So it's like really it's the next 5 minute candle that matters. But I want to see this wick act as a discount array. Then I'd be watching the midpoint of this, and they both sort of line up like that there, pretty much. Because displacement through that would be problematic. We've got these equal lows here that it could turtle soup, but ideally it just runs. It needs to close this gap entirely and get above it. I don't want it to be forming displacements like this. Like I said, this 1 minute candle and 5 minute and 50 minute and hourly, I want it to close above all of this. Like above these lines, but like really above here. Then I'd feel far more confident that my stop isn't going to get hit. I'd like to see a 1 minute breakaway gap through this. This would become a breaker. So we can close above here. We've got 2 seconds to do that. So I'd like to see it just run from here. So there's that hourly. It can come into here and then go up. But I reckon, yeah, I expect the hourly to just continue higher. 15 minute. I expect NASDAQ to play catch up now. The other assets have made new highs. I expect NASDAQ to follow suit. That's nice. Which is right at a new day opening gap, right? Yes. I want to hold to that level. Um, when we get a change in the state above here, I will trail my stop. And $80 is there, so depending on the PA, I might be able to trail my stop up to there. This is a propulsion block. Really, I can bring my stop here. Yeah, I can bring my stop there. I mean, no. You can tell I'm still unprofitable because of doing things like this. You know, someone with much more experience, much more confidence wouldn't be doing that. Most days I don't, but it's NFP Thursday, and I understand why ICT says what he says. Like, it's decoupled. That's the biggest difficulty is, you know, like everything else has taken its highs, but NASDAQ hasn't. And that's challenging for me to stay in the trade, but I'm testing myself. I'm willing to leave the day on a loss because I could get out now in profit, but I'm willing to end the day on a loss so that I can see what it's like, you know, trying to hold a trade through these kinds of conditions. We've got 2 minutes. I want to see it close like here, like above here. And in doing so, I want some decent 1 minute market structure, like some breakaway gaps and such. This support price, I want to see it print a gap now, like through this, off of this. And if it does that, I'm willing to trail my stop. Uh, Here would bring me to break even, which would be protected by a breakaway gap and a breaker. I just need displacement away from it before I can do that. Dollar looks like it's about to drop down into a untapped 15 minute, which usually, this is why it's difficult today, because like usually that would be good for us, right? Dollar down, equities higher. But today they've all been correlated. So if the dollar's going to drop, maybe the equities are going to drop, and that's hard. I don't know. Um, like this is a good place to put my stop. I just want a displacement through this. I usually listen to music when I'm trading, but I'm like talking to no one, just for the recording's sake. I want it to run up from here, you know. I say that all the time, but there's a reason for why. I want it to confirm this is a breaker, this is a breakaway gap. Is going break even here, but I do want to hold for the ultimate target. Like I could take profit now and I'd be up $30 on the day. Is that worth it? No. So now the day is either zero or like 100 and something. Um, so nice. That's nice. in the recording of this. If anyone knows like an ICT Gems video or an ICT lecture about when the dollar and the other indexes are cross-correlated, not opposites, please link it to me in the comments or hit me up on Discord. Also join the Discord because doing this on YouTube is just a one-off, I'll do it every now and then. But it's really a thing for the Discord and it's gonna be free. Um, until further notice, until I can prove that I got a 75% win rate and stacked 5 accounts and pulling payouts every other week. But until then, it's going to be free. But yeah, long. Just want new day, new week. It's that. There we go. Yeah. Down 20 cents on the day. Whoa, look at that. We got 50.62% win rate. I'm happy with that, man. I'm happy with that. I got some good content out of that and a good lesson. So yeah, I mean that was a difficult day. But OPL model strikes again. I mean, pretty easy when you really think about it. Not gonna lie. Did I lock out? I haven't locked out. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I am not gonna do that. I don't mean. I want to. Um, I'm just saying, like, I know that was a stop hunt, but I'm not gonna take that trade. Nice. All right, that will cut off today's stream. Um, that's that. I'm gonna end it there. But yeah.